Hello everybody! We just finished Rosh Hashanah. We are now standing shortly before Yom Kippur, and we are now during the 10 days of Teshuvah, the Sfas Emes Teshuvah. I want to share with you a concept, an idea that I found extremely inspiring, extremely deep, but extremely satisfying. It's a little longer than I usually share, but I believe and I hope that you will really appreciate this. Let's ask the following questions. Our sages say that the place where a person who does teshuvah, who returns and repents, stands, is even greater than a tzaddik can stand. Our sages are saying that a person who does teshuvah, who repents, is even greater than a tzaddik, than a righteous person. How could this be? How could somebody who never sinned be less great than somebody who sinned and returned? Next question. We know that after the period of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur comes Sukkot, the time of joy, then Sfas Emes, this extreme explosion of joy. Why does joy follow the period of Teshuvah? And third question, we know that there's an astounding series of tens in the Torah. Many tens. I say to say that there were 10 utterances, 10 mamaros that were used to create the world. There were 10 generations between Adam and Noach, 10 generations between Noach and Avram. Avram was tested with 10 trials. We know that there were 10 plagues in Egypt. There were 10 commandments. There are 10 miracles that happen on a daily basis to the Jewish people in the temple. And finally, there are 10 days of tshuva. What is with this fascinating series of tens? Are they perhaps connected in some way? Of course they are. So I want to share with you an amazing Sfas Emes. Our sages teach that Hashem spoke and created the worlds. Torah says Hashem spoke and created the worlds. God's words are Torah. That's what it means that Hashem used Torah to create the worlds. So Hashem spoke 10 utterances, 10 mamaros, 10 utterances, and those created 10 channels, 10 pipelines, so to speak, of energy and hashpah that sustain the world. Now, a mimer, the word mimer means a soft expression. It's a quiet expression. That means that Hashem's words, which are Torah, are sustaining the world. Torah is sustaining the world. And if a person listens closely, they can learn Torah from nature. That's why I say to say, had the Torah not been given, we would have learned Torah from nature. Because if you listen closely, we can hear the Maimaros, hear the words of Torah being taught by nature itself. However, of course, those Maimaros are subtle. They're soft. They're not overt, and you have to look closely. It's not easy to pick up the moral lessons from nature. So there are 10 channels sustaining nature. And however, after the time of Adam, the first man, there were 10 generations, and these generations sadly became degenerate. They corrupted the world, and they did sins, and they sort of polluted these 10 channels of creation, and they didn't fulfill the mitzvos. They did terrible sins, and at the 10th generation came, the generation of Noach. The world had nothing to sustain itself. Those 10 channels became blocked up. And the world had to be restarted. The world, so to speak, was destroyed and needed to be restarted. Noach was a great person. Noach came and he restarted the world. He was a righteous person. He restarted the world, so to speak. He unclogged those 10 channels. And once again, he renewed the 10 channels. But again, sadly, after 10 generations later, each of those 10 channels became clogged up. And the 10th generation after that, we have what's called the Dar Flaga, the story of the Tarabava, where humanity became dispersed. After that, we have the story of Avram. Now, Avram was different than Noach. Noach cared for his family, cared for himself, but Avram was focused on perfecting the world, focusing on spreading belief of Hashem and love for Hashem and love for each other across the world. And Hashem said, here is now a person who will be the core, the kernel of a people that will perfect humanity. And Avram was going to be the father of this new people that will perfect humanity. Avram was then given 10 tests. Those 10 tests were actually the beginning of a new creation, the creation of a new people, right, that will transcend nature. What's a test? What's a nisayon? A nisayon is the same word for nes, as miracle. The idea is that a nisayon, a test, is Avram's test allowed him to transcend his own nature. And therefore, that created a people that will transcend nature, that will experience miracles. Therefore, Avram's 10 nisyonos created a people that will have 10 nisim. They'll have constant miracles because they'll be a people that transcend nature. Avram's own transcendence of his own nature created the Jewish people that transcended the laws of history, the laws of nature. Therefore, those 10 nisyonos led to what's called the 10 makos, 10 plagues. Why is that? So, then the 10 channels of creation, 10 mamaros, 10 channels of sustenance. Now, the world, society was polluting those 10 channels with sins, with negativity. So, especially the Egyptians, they were extremely horrific and violent and immoral, and they mistreated the Jews terribly. And they created this terrible pollution in the 10 channels of creation. Hashem, seriously, cleaned out these 10 channels by taking out all the negativity in those 10 channels, and they took them out, and all the negativity was manifest in 10 plagues. And those 10 plagues, they brought punishment to the Egyptians, but also it now created a people, Klal Yisrael, that transcended the laws of nature. Right? So the miracles of Egypt, they helped the Jewish people transcend the laws of nature. They transcended the 10 Memoros, and in that transcendence, they were cleaned out. The 10 plagues were an expression of the negativity that was put into the 10 channels of creation. Now, after they were cleaned out, so to speak, Hashem took it to the next level. Now, instead of 10 Memoros, 10 utterances, those pipes were overlaid with the 10 Dibros, the 10 commandments. What that was basically these 10 channels were now overlaid with the ability to influence all humanity. The Zohar says, "V'dibarta bam," you shall speak in them. Zohar says really means you shall influence with them. V'dibarta is an expression of control and influence, meaning that the Torah has the ability to influence the whole entire world through it. So meaning the Jewish people are us keeping mitzvos, they are overlaid, their patterns after the 10 channels of creation. Our 10 dibros are overlaid with the 10 channels of creation. Now it's a dibur. Dibur, commandment, is an expression that's lashon kasha. It's a louder expression. There's a much greater influence to the world. Right, so basically Avram was a new creation. He did that by transcending his own nature. He created the people that transcended nature. That transcendence of nature allowed them to change the memoros into the dibros, the 10 commandments. Okay. So now we have these 10 channels of creation that the Jewish people, we plug into, and we use it to influence all nature, right? All of the world is sort of influenced in a positive way by our Torah. When we learn Torah, our Torah injects into this bloodstream, so to speak, of this life stream of creation, and influences all the world to slowly, subtly, gently urge it in a more moral direction. Fascinating concept. Let's take it one step further. We have 10 days of teshuvah. Right? Why is that? So basically, when the world is being recreated this year, Rosh Hashanah is the beginning of the world. When the world is being recreated, we have these 10 days are now the days in which the 10 channels of creation are renewed. Now, even today, there are people that commit sins, and they weaken the channels of creation. Hashem wants us. Hashem makes it easy for us to do teshuvah. And by us doing teshuvah, we are actually tapping into a universe, to a world that is even higher than the 10 commandments. And we can overlay these 10 channels with in even a higher level. How is that? That is the world of teshuvah. What is teshuvah? Teshuvah, we know, is return. When a person returns, right, a person says, Hashem, I did this sin, I regret it, I wish I didn't do it, I regret it, and I commit not to do it again. That's called teshuvah. In the future, all humanity, all the Jewish people will return to Hashem. Teshuvah comes from the world, comes to the universe where all people return to Hashem. When we do teshuvah, says the Sfas Emes, we tap into an energy, a hashba of the future world. The world, when the world Shabbos, the world has returned to its source. And we bring that down to us. And that comes from an energy that never experienced any sin, an energy of purity. Therefore, when we do teshuvah, in the 10 days of teshuvah, we are overlaying these 10 channels, the memoros and the dibros, with another layer of teshuvah, of the world of teshuvah. And therefore, now we have even a far greater influence to influence the world with. Now the world isn't just influenced by the memoros or the dibros. Now it's influenced by the world of teshuvah, the world of Shabbos, the world of return. What a fascinating concept. So when we do teshuvah today, we're not just improving ourselves, we're tapping into the future that injects into the life stream of humanity this enormous energy, this joyous energy of the future. And that really perfects the world, that urges the world in a more moral and compassionate and lofty direction. So why does this period, why is it followed with joy? Because the world of the future is a world of joy. As it says, when we reach that future, it'll be our mouths will be filled with laughter and joy, of extreme closeness to Hashem. So after we tap into the future, the joyous energy of teshuvah comes to us. Its expression is an expression of joy, of simcha. That's why Sukkot and Simchas Torah as a time of joy, because we are using the energy of that future, the world in which the world in which all the world has come to its towards its conclusion and its apex and its historical destiny of uniting, coming together, and connecting to Hashem, its source. Bottom line of all this, bottom line is that when we do mitzvos, we influence entire worlds. That's the 10 dibros are plugged into the 10 memoros. Particularly when we do teshuvah during these 10 days of creation, these 10 days of recreation, we do teshuvah, we inject the world with a higher level of influence, of hashpah, of positivity, of goodness, and that connects us to the world of joy, and that truly makes us joyous. It's absolutely true that when a person does teshuvah, does it properly and sincerely and authentically, it's an incredible sense of joy that we could experience in this world. So my blessing to all of us is, let us realize the enormous power that we have to change the world for the better. Let us tap into this enormous potential of the 10 days of Tshuva, and let us indeed merit seeing the culmination of world history in which all humanity come together, all the Jewish people come together, love each other, and have a blessed, blissfully close relationship to the Almighty. Have a wonderful Shabbos.